if you think disability can limit someone's potential to grow and contribute positively to the society, then you are wrong. In 2015, Prime Minister of India introduced a concept called Divyang. Parliament of India came with a bill called Rights of a Person with Disability 2016. The way a nation treats its population, which is 2.6 million people who are persons with disability, and they wanted to shift their cultural and social stigma which is there in the minds of people when they overlooked or underestimate the population who is person with disability. People at least started talking about it. They at least started considering the people of disability. They at least started considering that they are also part of this society and they have also the right to live. In Indian society and in many Indian families, birth of a girl child is considered as a liability to her parents because they have to feed her, they have to raise her, and they have to send her back when she get married. After 1.5 years of my birth, doctor diagnosed me and said that I am a special child. In the earlier stage of my life, my parents were shocked when they heard about this. My father was reluctant to accept this fact. He thought that how could I give a birth to a child who has some special needs. Then he accepted. I have had 2 surgeries and various therapies to fix my spine, but none were successful. One day we decided that we will stop all these therapies because it is eventually harming my body, it is eventually harming the financial and the mental condition of my family. I would say when you accept the fact that okay, this is it, then you will be able to find a solution and then you will be able to move in your life. So instead of complaining and instead of crying about the small things which you don't have, start working towards it and find the solutions. Disability was a challenge for me and my parents also because people were more concerned about my disability rather than my parents. They used to ask questions to my parents that, oh, she is a girl, how will you take care of her? It's better if you throw her to any special school or any orphanage which is specially designed for the persons with disability. What you will do when she will start menstruating? What have you ever think about her periods? And questions like that, the unending questions my parents has to answer and faced every single stage of their life. But because of their support and because they never lose hope in me, they have imbibed the confidence in me that you are just a normal person like others and you can do every single thing which other can do. But you have some special abilities and you have to take care of your abilities considering your disability also. I never participated in any school activities or I haven't had any friends, close friends because of this disability. When no one was there, my parents were there, my mother was there and they became my friends. My mother became my friend and we started building this relationship which never let me feel low. I was always an unwelcome child when it comes to visiting any relative's place. I never participated in any school activities. I never had any close friends with whom I can share my tiffin, with whom I can talk about my problems. I have completed my education from one government school of Pune. I had faced many rejections and discrimination because of my disability, because of the just one thing I doesn't have. And it has created the negative attitude in my mind. I started feeling low. The suicidal tendencies started increasing in my mind because of the approach of the people towards me and because of their negative attitude towards me. I always used to complain that why this has happens with me, why everyone rejects me, why everyone just ignores my existence, why my mother has to face so many problems just because of me. So I always used to complain about the things which I don't have. I got a chance to meet one girl from the orphanage, and that was the turning point of my life. She changed the whole perspective of mine towards my life. Why? Till then, I was complaining. I can speak, I can see, I can write, I can breathe. I never thank God for that things, for those things which I have. I always complain just because I can't walk. So she was my inspiration, or that was a turning point of my life, which changed the whole perspective. And because of my past experiences, I started working on the social grounds. In 2013, I joined one NGO. It is a voluntary organization running by students. Currently, I am working on education, disability rights, which is my core area of work, and third is menstrual hygiene. Menstruation is still a taboo in India. Many children who are out of school, especially girls, had to stop their schooling because they are menstruating or because they are having their periods. So we at Roshni started working on menstrual hygiene. Many women from rural India, or even though in Pune city, doesn't have any access to sanitary pads, which is a basic need of a woman when she is menstruating. They doesn't have any knowledge how to keep them clean and neat. So what we did was, I along with my colleagues started working on menstrual hygiene management. We started educating them about the sustainable menstruation practices so they can keep themselves clean and neat during those 5 days. And it is also changing their mindset towards menstruation. Everyone needs a person who will listen to their problem without any judgmental remarks. Same with persons with disability. I used to feel low, I used to feel alone because no one was there to listen to me and listen to my problem or understand me, what I am feeling or what I was going through. So I started building the network of persons with disability. What we did was, under our project Roshni, we provide them books, audio books, we provide them braille books, we provide them educational guidance, we provide them opportunities for employment, and this has boosted their confidence, and this has helped them to come out of their comfort zone and fly by their own. Since the starting years of my social activism, I am focused more on the education of the underprivileged. In that, we have been teaching the children who stays in slum areas. In 2016, we started one mobile school for the children who beg on the streets with the help of my colleagues. The name of this school is Green Signal School. The main idea behind running this school is to bring these children into the mainstream and provide them the educational opportunities which they don't have, or which their families are denying their right to get educated. The main problem which we faced during this journey was parents usually consider these children as an asset or as an investment. They give birth to more and more children so they can earn more and more money with the help of these children who will beg on the streets eventually. So we had to convince their parents that they have to get educated, so in their coming future they will give you a better life with dignity. But it was very hard to convince them at start. Later on, they realized that education is the only medium which can help them to overcome all the problems in their life. During the years of my social activism, I have observed some personal needs between the rural youth and the urban youth. What I think is rural students have phenomenal potential, but they are not using it. We just need to help them to come out of their comfort zone, so they will not have to face any kind of inferiority complex just because they have some barriers. We just need to give them some platform so they can present their skills, their ideas to the larger audience. In December 2017, I have been chosen as an Indian delegate for the conference of Asia Pacific Youth Leaders Initiative at Malaysia. The main concept behind this entire conference was Sustainable Development Goals, which are set by United Nations to end poverty, to give quality education to children. These are 17 goals set by United Nations, which are asking governments from all the countries to take action for that. On my way to Malaysia, one interesting thing happened with me, from which I learned the most. When I reached at Mumbai airport authorities detained me. They said, "Ma'am, I'm sorry, but we will not allow you to go just because you are a differently abled person and no one is accompanying you." As this was my first flight, they didn't want to take any risk. Their intention was clear. They didn't want me to go inside the aircraft. At that moment, I have recollected all my past memories, all my past negative experiences which has happened with me. And I started crying. I fought with them for my rights. I fought with them for my existence. And then I won the battle. And then they allowed me to board the flight. During my days in Malaysia, we were supposed to study on various topics of Sustainable Development Goals. Mine was goal number 4, quality education. In that, I presented one model for inclusive society and inclusive cities, for which I got an award as a best delegate amongst the 300 participants from 30 countries. And this has helped me to boost my confidence and to come out of my comfort zone to see that magic happen. And this was the memorable incident from my journey to Malaysia. I am also affiliated with several social and youth organizations. Roshni is the first. Apart from Roshni, I have been also associated with Nehru Yuva Kendra, which is an autonomous body of Government of India. In 2016, United Nations gave me a recognition of Global Youth Ambassador of India, which is a part of their project for education of all, which is named as A World at School. For my activism in social field, Government of India conferred me with a National Youth Award. It is the highest award for a youth of this country. I have also received State Youth Award from the Government of Maharashtra. I would say Diksha was working even before receiving these awards, and these awards helped me to reach out more people with disabilities and to understand their problems and to find solutions.